The President, please be seated. The court is now in session. According to our schedule, during today's sessions, we continue hearing the testimony of witness Chaum Sai. Hopefully, we will conclude his testimony today, and we will proceed to hear testimony of TCW 548. Next. The Chamber wishes to inform the parties to the proceeding and the public that Judge Yu Ottara is absent due to his personal commitment. Having consulted with fellow judges of the bench, Judge Tumuni is now in his place. He will be sitting until the time when Judge Yu Ottara is able to return to the bench. This ruling is in accordance with Internal Rule 79.4. Madam Sakalwati, you are now instructed to report to the Chamber on the status of the parties to the proceedings today. Sakalwati, Mr. President and Your Honors, parties to the proceedings today are present except Mr. Nuon Chia, who is unwell and is being admitted to the hospital. Mr. Ieng Sari is observing the proceedings from holding cell when Mr. Pik Ang, National Counsel for the Civil Party, will be arriving late. Mr. Chaum Sai is ready. And TCW 548 will be our next witness who awaits call in his waiting room. The witness has already confirmed that according to the witness' best knowledge, the witness is not in a relationship with any of the accused or a civil party. Admitted in this case, the witness has already taken an oath. The witness has no jury counsel. Thank you, Mr. President. The President, thank you. Mr. Sakalwati, we noted that an international counsel for Mr. Nuon Chia was on his feet. You may now proceed.
Thank you, Mr. President. Your Honors, good morning. Yesterday, in the second part of the afternoon, we were informed that our client had been taken urgently to the hospital because he had collapsed in prison, in the detention center. This morning, we received a medical report, presumably a preliminary medical report, indicating that because of his condition, a period of 4 to 7 days, he is supposed to be admitted in the hospital. Because this all happened the second part of the afternoon on Sunday, we didn't have the opportunity to speak to our client about his situation, and more importantly about the fact, about effect if he actually is waiving his right to be present. So at this point in time, we cannot inform you on that particular issue if he waives his right to be present. And because we have to go from the presumption of a non-waiver, we would suggest that you give us the opportunity to speak to our client this morning, and that once we have spoken to him, we will get back to you on his issue, on the medical issues and the question of waiver of his right to be present. And because of all this, we request that the proceedings will be adjourned until we have spoken to our client.
The President, thank you, Counsel. To be clear on this, we would like to order that Mrs. Saikolvati read the medical report by the treating doctor to the chamber. Ministry of Health, the Khmer Soviet Friendship Hospital, the treating doctors, to the President of the Office of of the administration through the Khmer Soviet Friendship Hospital. Subject: medical report of Mr. Nguyen Chie, born in 1926. He has been admitted to the hospital on the 13th of January 2013 at 5:15 p.m. Diagnosis: he has suffered from bronchitis, severe bronchitis, and that he has to be admitted to the hospital for at least 4 to 7 days. According to the above mentioned subject, please, Your Excellency, the President of the court be informed. Kam Samsan. The President, thank you. We would like now to hand over to the other parties to the proceeding, including the prosecution and the lead co-lawyers for the civil party, to make any observation, should they wish to do so, concerning the health status of Mr. Nguyen Chie. Indeed, he has been admitted to the hospital, the Khmer Soviet Friendship Hospital, and remained there.
Good morning, Mr. President. Good morning, Your Honours. Thank you for giving me the floor on this subject. On our side, it seems to us that the request from the lawyers of Nguyen Chie seems to be reasonable, and it would certainly be useful for them to be able to speak to their client to see whether or not they have his mandate to renounce his right to be present or not. What does seem particularly important, especially if there were no renunciation of his right to be present, would be that the Chamber be kept regularly informed on his state of health, so that any assessment made by the Chamber about when the hearings can resume can be easily done. It is, of course, our hope that any such interruption should be limited, but it is a matter for the accused. That is all we have to say at this juncture, Mr. President.
Good. The President, thank you. International lead co-lawyer for the civil parties, you may now proceed.
Good morning, Mr. President. Good morning, Your Honours. At this stage, of course, we share the position of the prosecutor, and we believe that the defence's request is entirely reasonable. it is necessary for Mr. Nunchia's lawyers to be able to see with him if he's going to waive his right to be present. But we do want to stress the fact that as far as it is possible, we would like the hearings to advance, if such is possible, in the respect of everybody's rights, and we would like to be kept appraised of the evolution of the situation as soon as possible. Thank you, Mr. President.
The President, thank you, Counsel. Does any other parties to the proceedings wish to also make an observation on this?
Good morning, Mr. President. Good morning, Your Honors, and good morning to everyone in and around the courtroom. We fully support the request by the Nunchia team. We have been adamant from day one that we have to respect the fair trial rights of all of the accused at all times, and we think that this is a very reasonable request. And the question then, I think today when they visit the client, is whether indeed he's capable of exercising that right. But that remains to be seen. Thank you.
The President, thank you, Counsel. International Co-Counsel for Mr. Kilsampon, you may now proceed.
Thank you, Mr. President. Very briefly, we have nothing really to add to what has already been said about the request from the Nunchia team. Thank you, sir.
The President, thank you, Counsels. The President, the Chamber would like to hand over to Judge Sylvia Cartwright to shed light on how we handle this issue. You may proceed, Judge Cartwright.
Thank you, President. The Chamber appreciates the comments of the Nuon Chea Defence Team and all other parties. It has decided to monitor the situation, the medical condition of Nuon Chea, and will adjourn today. By Wednesday morning, the President will inform the parties of any change to the sitting hours, and we would appreciate it if the Nuon Chea Defence Team would keep the Chamber informed of its discussions with Nuon Chea. We will advise the parties if we are going to resume on Wednesday, but Wednesday morning will be the next date at the latest for further information for the parties. Is that sufficiently clear to all the parties? And I hope to the public as well. Any questions? Thank you.
I do have a question, because does that mean that we come on Wednesday morning?
Now, I did try to explain that we will inform you by Wednesday morning, and if we are resuming on Wednesday morning, we will inform you of that. Is that clear enough? We're trying to be flexible here, Mr. Carnivas.
Very clear.
Thank you.
The President, thank you, Judge Cartwright. We would like to inform the public and the parties the proceeding that today's hearing is adjourned. The next hearing will be convened on Wednesday at 9 a.m. By Wednesday, as scheduled, we will continue hearing the testimonies of witness Chaum Sai. Hopefully, we will have concluded the testimonies of witness Chaum Sai by then. Then we will proceed to hear the testimony of TCW 548 accordingly. Court officer is now instructed to coordinate with the Westsu unit to make sure that both witnesses are returned to their places and have them return to the courtroom. On the morning of Wednesday. Security personnel are now instructed to bring Mr. Kyu Sompon and Ieng Sari to the detention facility and have them returned to the courtroom. Rather, have Mr. Kyu Sompon returned to the courtroom by the 16th of January 2013 by 9 a.m. and have Mr. Ieng Sari return to his holding cell where audiovisual link is connected to his so that he can observe the proceedings from there. The court is adjourned.